Oh, wow, this worked really well. What's going on? Um, this is the April update. It says April 10th there, but it's currently the 22nd. I keep letting time escape me. In the bottom left, keep going back. It's huge on discipline. It's not about failure, it's just showing up every week. Um, so we had August, September, October, November, December, January, February, March. Man, it's been like six. Oh man, now it's April. Yeah, and then May's coming up. So basically, what happened was I went on a vacation in August and I recorded a vlog, and I have yet to post it, and it's been like a year, but I'll get to it. I have also developed a system that I can potentially show off later, but we'll see how much this revival video gets. Also, like, my room has been updated. I got like the space photo scar tissue up there. Also, I got that sick. I got the planet Mars here, and then my bookshelf with Aquaman. So, yeah, basically, I don't know. I just kept falling over myself. I moved agencies in September, so that was a big transition. I couldn't like focus on this, and I couldn't prioritize my tasks. But I developed a system with it, and I can't read the text behind my face. Hold on. Oh, I forgot to put up a pause button. Oh, hold on. Oh, okay, so it unpauses here. So, basically, I threw a bunch of music up here. These are all the songs I'm listening to right now. And when I was making this video, I was doing the winter arc. Now I just kind of listen to my playlist 125 and my repeats. What Don't Belong to Me is a repeat I still listen to. I'm pretty sure this is my repeats on the right as well. But yeah, I just keep going back, and then Fuel by Eminem and GID here. And like him, where just like the anger gets you through it, and am I everything you wanted me to be? Am I him? Am I just like him? So yeah, like the rage of 1,000 suns is what's required to move the mountains, sourced from the pain, the anxiety. You got to strike while the iron is hot, and just you never run out of that fuel. Last time I made a video was July 31st. I was trying to figure it out in January and like just work with the agency and whatnot. Kept bogging me down. Like in the new year, I had to do this agency group so that I could learn more about insurance. And one thing, especially on the way left here, right under my face, the whole like you hated your job, now you love your job. I mean, changing agencies was a world of change for me, and it really helped a lot. I had to do Web CE around my birthday, and I let my license lapse for like 3 days, and I don't want that to happen again. I focused on maintaining myself, and I was still trying to get out of like the body lifting mentality where like my body health was the most important thing, because like I needed to get my finances in order, and $600 a month was going to the trainer, so I had to stop that. And then in the bottom, it's got New Year, use AI. I've been using AI, and I have more to say about that. Emails and social media. With my new task tracking system, I manage my emails as a part of my beginning of day, and social media is partly AI, learning how to post more with that. My day in the bottom left here with Civ 6 and Marvel Rivals, I've been recording and gaming a lot. Today I chose to actually record this video instead of do the game. Super proud of myself here. I performed, and then Marvel Rivals, I'm like Silver 1 right now. I need to get to Gold. And then with Civ, I was doing all the achievements. I just got all 32 of the standard wonders built. And I was going to move on to the victories and see if I could like check all the boxes on it. And have that as part of the gaming channel vlog stuff. Kind of like how this is the improvement vlog. My prioritization on the way right here and the activity changes and the mindset shifts. You know, I think one thing that I'm realizing with this video is that like my YouTube is therapy at the end of the day. Like I'm dumping all this on here and you're watching, and oh well, this is just my way of self-accountability. Actually, you know what this is on the bottom right? This is the next couple slides in a row. Like we're going to talk about finance, meditation, book, give myself credit. Normally you wouldn't see this slide, but this is how I put things into the slide as I'm trying to figure out what I want to talk about. I've been performing well at work and with therapy. I was going to go over banking, stocks, real estate, insurance, crypto, and credit as all financial tools. I built out a bunch of different stuff. I was just trying to get a visual glimpse of everything, but I think I'm going to do that in a different way on the next video. But I'm really trying to hone in on what is the best snapshot of my money, and I was trying to do that here again, and I have a couple other recent renditions. This is my most prized possession right now. It's no longer at that 126 percentage mark. I'm more near, I can actually tell you live. Currently the price is at $2.21. And XRP also appeared in in the news, possibly going to be part of the U.S. Strategic Reserve. Currently, I'm up only 66% on my Coinbase XRP. I'm going to keep buying more Coinbase. I'm actually building the company TicketDAO on Coinbase. Right there are the pictures of everything. I updated the photo for it, and I actually put the XRP logo like in there as the X's on the ticket. So it's like, this is your ticket to cryptocurrency. You know, you could own a piece of the internet through this platform, and the way it's going to work is like through donations to streamers. It's going to be like a cryptocurrency, like a plugin on Streamlabs. And then my idea, if I can flesh it out, is that you can send gifts as like a messenger. So like I could be streaming right now, and then like somebody's handpicked GIF and message popped up as a donation. Like you have to pay to like mint the NFT GIF and everything, and then ship it out there to the end user, who's the streamer or YouTuber. There's going to be a lot that you can interact with creators. I'm trying to make it like a Patreon, but like you're doing it on crypto, so there's going to be cool features as a result of that, because you can mint NFTs. This was my financial kingdom I built. This is another way of trying to visualize my finances. My personal property is this nice castle in the center, and it's guarded by my insurance, and that's the police badge. And then to the left, the general with the knight, he's going off to war against the bad interest or the debt and the unexpected expenses that are of threat to our personal property. And then within the surrounding area, you got your stocks, your crypto, your real estate, and those are the crops of your kingdom, and then the savings, that, the vault, the reason you have the castle are the savings. I'm gonna revisit this, but I wanted to make sure I got it out on a video, and I wanted to get this video out before I moved on to the next one. Therapy 1, this is the one where I have the individual sessions that I just recently moved to twice a week so that I could upload more YouTube videos, or every other week rather. And then there's the family therapy thrown into it. And it's been really challenging to open up, but it's gotten better, and that's all you could really ask for. So I'm just going to keep doing that. It's improving my relationship with myself and my parents in a positive manner. I was provided this 2025 bingo card, and so this is my goal for 2025 that I'll revisit at the end of the year to see if I completed everything. I might revisit it maybe in July to see if I can knock out any of these. And the big theme was rupture and burst, where you have a big rupture, a big fight with a person that you have a relationship with, and through that rupture and burst, you enter that repair phase, like natural anatomy, and you just meld stronger, fused together. That's been huge. And then on the other side of it, we've been doing the cognitive behavioral therapy, where there's the emotions which affect your actions, which affect your thoughts, and it's in a perfect triangle. And so, when you're having thoughts of, I'm not good enough, or you're obsessing over your health, and then that leads into negative emotions, and then that leads into negative actions, because by the time the one pillar's broken, then the second pillar's already falling, and then the third one, it's just like, are we having the worst of worst thoughts? Are we experiencing the heaviest emotions, or are we committing atrocities? And that's what you got to look at, virtue and vice. There's a second piece to this, which is right here, where the cognitive wheel therapy actually lined up with work. So at the meeting the previous month in March, they brought up this attitude wheel with attitude, behaviors, and technique. And then technique, he mentioned, he was like, oh yeah, that's the words we use. And then I was like, man, that's really, really similar to the cognitive triangle. And so I lined them up here where, attitude, they placed themselves at the top of the pyramid, and conveniently that's where emotions go. And then the bottom left went techniques, which are also known as the words you say, is what he said. And then I was like, oh, that's similar. That's like the thoughts. And then behaviors, and actions. So at work, they're trying to teach us the behaviors to perform effectively. And it's been a positive outlook. And also in the past couple months, I just realized that obsessing over my health wasn't healthy, that trying to be in peak physical condition forced me to sacrifice other things in my life in order to be at peak physical condition, which wasn't a requirement for life. Like it's a luxury, but there's no inherent need to be eating like so much throughout the day. Like if I have surplus money in the future, that could change. But right now, while I'm grinding, like there's just no room for that type of expense. In terms of mental space for the obsessiveness over health, and then that helps with my mindset. And then my mindset over here, the wise mind, was a very good Venn diagram that I was taught. and then my background screensaver had like the similar flow chart as the wise mind, where you're supposed to use logic and emotion to go counterbalance each other. But on the internet, I saw someone say discipline and surrender connecting to the emotional side was super powerful, because you just got to let your emotions, you got to feel your emotions, and that's what surrendering is. And if you cannot surrender and let go of the discipline, you're never going to achieve your flow. And that's because you're too controlling. And until you learn to surrender and let some of it be out of your control, and to have trust and to have faith, you're not going to be able to utilize the flow. You're not going to be able to utilize the cognitive triangle in a positive manner. It's going to end up becoming negative. I wanted to say that the thoughts, if you're having negative thoughts and it's going through the triangle, the emotions, the actions, and then because you're doing these actions, I'm upset that I keep repeating these actions, and then it's causing me to have these thoughts. And then it's like, okay, well, you got to pick somewhere. You got to choose the words you say to yourself carefully. You got to make sure you don't punish yourself. You got to make sure you don't over reward yourself. And then with the emotions, you got to learn to experience them rather than avoid them. If you do not experience them, they will linger forever. And that's similar to the words. If you don't confront the words will break you down until you learn to pick them apart. And then that goes with the Bible here. This is actually something I'm glad to be picking up again, because it is now April and it's almost been a full year since I really looked at it. But that's a good example of how you just have to keep coming back. And it's not about, it's just about the whole journey, I guess. But one of the biggest quotes I guess I'll read out loud was, Jesus taught us to forgive. He just never told us how hard it was. Because, he preaches forgiveness as his ultimate virtue. Forgive everybody, even yourself. And it's hard to forgive yourself as well as others. So we're going to wrap up the book of Luke, it seems, or the book of Matthew, and then go into the book of Luke. So I just saw a peek of the next slide, so I gotta laugh when I get there. But before we go anywhere, basically on topic with the negative energy thing, it's actually convenient that the quote here from Mark 11, verse 21, the fig tree that you cursed has withered. And it's like a small line in there as he's doing a whole speech, because later he says here, but if you do not forgive, neither will your Father who is in heaven forgive your trespasses. So it's two things here. The forgiveness part where if you can't forgive, your Father won't forgive you. You won't be able to forgive yourself, the whole 9 yards. The fig tree that you curse is withered. It's the negative energy. You curse something, it's going to put bad energy out, but you have to be responsible. On Mark 12, verse 26, I am the God of Abraham and the God of Isaac and the God of Jacob. I got name dropped, so that was pretty cool. Verse 27, he is not the God of the dead, but the God of the living. You are quite wrong. And that honestly was one of the most impactful things I had heard in a while, where I carry that with me all the time, where, he's not the God of the dead. He's the God of the living. Be alive, be happy. This is the present. Mark 13 here. Verse 11, and when they bring you to trial, do not be anxious beforehand what you are to say, but say whatever is given to you in that hour, for it is not you who speak, but the Holy Spirit. That one helped a lot. It looks like I was making that back in July, so I haven't looked at this in a minute, but that was another one that I really liked. Even yesterday I was still working at it with these agent meetings. I'm in a room full of people who are all trying to get the same job, and it's hard to size each other up because everybody's in a different situation. But I just have learned to not be anxious beforehand, for, the Holy Spirit will take care of it. That's part of that surrender into your emotions, into what feels right. And on verse 13, which, here you go, and you will all be hated for my name's sake, but the one who endures to the end will be saved. Stay awake, lest he come suddenly and find you asleep. This was a repeat from the other books, where Jesus says, you have to stay awake and be awake and alert at all times, because you never know when God or when the thief in the night is going to come. Because if you knew when they were going to come, you'd be awake, you'd be alert, but you don't know when they're going to come, so you must always be awake. Then on Mark 14, Jesus is betrayed, and he relays the prophecy at the Last Supper. And then in Mark 15, Mark adds an extra detail to the crucifixion, saying, as soon as it was the morning. That was interesting. And then it's the second time Pilate says, his hands are clean, yet you ask to crucify him. And then there was also they clothed him in a purple cloak, which was unique to this book. That was very interesting. And then you just gotta love, Jesus is so back. Mark 16, Mary visited the tomb and saw the stone rolled back and a young man dressed in a white robe. So they saw the angel in there. And then the angel, verse 16, he says, whoever believes and is baptized will be saved. Whoever does not believe will be condemned. And these signs will accompany those who believe. In my name they will cast out demons. They will speak in new tongues. Oh, I didn't finish that? Well, that's too bad. We're going to move on. So then that wraps up the book of Mark. Basically was, you'll be hated for what Jesus stands for, which is forgiveness. And people who can't forgive themselves are going to project that onto you, or their cynicism that nothing matters, or their faithlessness outright. You gotta be it. You gotta be there to believe it. You gotta see it. You gotta feel it. Eventually, just things will happen in your life that will be so impactful that you'll see a large group of people do something kind, and that's kind of how God performs. So with the book of Luke here, the story begins with history. So Luke was a doctor, I believe. So he was the more interesting read so far, because he started saying, in as much as many have undertaken to compile a narrative of the things that have been accomplished among us. So he's very precise in his language as he's preaching the gospel here. And last time I picked up the book was September. I was reading Luke still. On chapter 2, story about Jesus and his parents and the baby being born, which is new to him. That's new information, not provided in the other Gospels. And then Luke 3, verse 9, even now the axe is laid to the root of the trees. Every tree, therefore, that does not bear good fruit is cut down and thrown into the fire. You know? That's kind of what this agent group I'm in, you know, just some people, or just any sport or event where there was a cut, you know, the drama club, there's a cut for the play. Every tree, therefore, that does not bear good fruit is cut down and thrown into the fire. They're thrown into the fire to either grow or die. Then after we get back into all of this with the following week, basically we're going to get back to this book. I love what this book taught me recently. So like at the end of the last time I read the book was chapter 3, and it was develop competence. And I think I'm quoting the next chapter. I can't remember, but we do good because we are good, and everything else is extra. And that's always been my philosophy, but it was just nice to read something that felt the same way. And something new that I experienced was just the words, who better to do it than you? Who is more deserving? You know, the person that did it or the person that didn't do anything. So, you know, you got to realize that you deserve the rewards that are coming for you eventually. And, you know, I also use that as motivation. Like, who better to be me to make these kind of videos? Because I'm the one reading the books. I'm the one experiencing drama, like all of it. You know, and I did it for you, whoever's watching. I mean, and with that exact point, that's where I made this slide. And I wanted to just have a slide out there just talking about how it's hard to put yourself out there today with social media and whatnot. And, you know, you just got to be there for yourself and do things that make you happy. You know, you got to allow your heart to vibrate out of your body. I want to know if you want to be growing with me until we're 70. She's the tear in my heart. I post so that she doesn't have to wonder. I'm everything she needs. And like just standard respect with people. On right under my like face card here, I said that I respect the elderly to like an old woman when I was at work, and she like genuinely appreciated it. Like she'd been starved of respect almost, you know, and it's just, you know, the whole let your heart vibrate out of your body, like just be kind, and like people appreciate it. Like the world's tough, but you got to be stronger. And my main thing was, and with the masculine blessings thing where like I hugged me, it's that self-reliance that like you don't really need anybody, you can manage. You know, you got to be there for yourself, and being there for yourself is being a public person, being able to be talked to. You got to, you know, aspire to be the best you, and then that version of you will inspire the other person. With the AI stuff in the bottom right, I got my action figure that I made. I think I was going to try and make a better version of this. I kind of went lazy on it just because I got a lot of stuff going on, and I haven't totally figured out how to talk to the AI bot better yet, but I'm getting better at it. I have to like take the drone off of the list because I bought a drone. Aha. Hold on. Can I pause this quickly? No. All right, we're going on the move. We're using a laptop to record, so it makes life easier. But look at this mini drone I bought. And like, I was trying to teach myself how to drive it. And it's easy but hard at the same time. And I know that like wind would be crazy. So like the picture of the $500 version, I mean, I don't know, man. I'm glad I have the mini one to play around with. I got it on TikTok Shop for like $30. The Trade War stuff has been crazy. I want to put that album of Dominic Fike up right here. The golf clubs, I should get more of them fitted. One really tough thing that I had to learn on the way bottom of this slide was just, I'll wait. You know, there's just some things you are not ready to hear yet, but I'll wait. And aside from that, program your success. There's on the way bottom, I have my Colorado vlog, and then the Civ video, like I was just posting to post, but I got to come back to this goal screen as well. So I wanted to post this just to get a post and to come back and then just make another one. I'll leave it as a surprise as to what it's going to be about. So we'll get there. But yeah, that's that. Cool beans. So yeah, thanks for watching.